What's up, y'all? It's Mace Blanco. I don't need Clout the podcast. Listen, bro, today's episode is gonna be heavy. I'm gonna make you think. It's gonna get deep. Pause. We're gonna get into some like philosophy type shit. And I'm not gonna lie, yo, this is like a warning, like a disclaimer. This is the type of conversation that you might want to keep to yourself depending on the position that you're in, because this is the type of thought process that will make you get some kind of random drug test. And you'll see what I mean, and you'll see what version of me you get today. Like I said, out the gate, I'm gonna make y'all think. I'm gonna start it with like, who is Mace Blanco? On some like deep reflective type of shit, I gotta ask myself who I am. But then a follow-up question would be, who is anybody? Like, how do you define or explain who somebody is? It's a lot to unpack when you're talking about who somebody is. It's a lot of layers. And it seems like a simple question, but really it's like a crazy open-ended question with no boundaries. Like when you go to a job interview and they're like, tell me about yourself. They want to get to know you, but really you got like full range to control the narrative about how you want to describe yourself. And that goes for like your fucking Instagram bio. Like that's your chance to tell the world who you are in like little words. But even if the other person reading that or ask you that question is coming in with some kind of like preconceived ideas about you or believe in any kind of stereotype about you, when they ask to tell me about yourself, that's really your time to shine and control the narrative and say what you want to say and shape their opinion the way that you want to. And it reminds me of this quote from Bruce Lee where he says, be like water.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
And I really love that clip because he says like the water basically takes the shape of whatever you put it in. And to expound on that, even like temperature, you put that shit into something that's cold or insulated, like it takes the shape, but it also changes temperature to its environment. And that's why I say you'll see what version of me you get today, because not on no fake shit, bro, not on no code switching to be professional, not trying to fit in, but through self-awareness, I realized that I'm a shapeshifter like water. And at first, I really didn't like that about myself. But through more experience and self-reflection, I realized it's really a skill and it's a gift. And I believe that God gave everybody at least a skill or a gift that they can use to bring glory to him. So we got to appreciate the talents and the skills that we have and keep in mind that the puzzle pieces do come together. You might got to move them around and shuffle them up to see it from a different angle, but all of the pieces do fit. And this is where I said it's going to get deep. Pause. Because when you think about it, everyone that knows you, everyone that knew you, everyone that ever met you, or anyone that ever saw you before has a different perception of you than you have of yourself. And which one is right? Do you know yourself better than anybody else? Or does sometimes it feels like other people know you better than you know yourself? There's a few people that I know that I think they lack some kind of self-awareness, and I really do know them better than they know themselves. Like, you know what they're gonna do next, you know what their reaction is gonna be. You know, it takes a lot of self-reflection to be able to truly know who you are, because you're looking from the inside out. Like you're trying to imagine how the world perceives you based on your own perception, and you have this insight that nobody else has. So you try to make it so that what you project out into the world is as closely aligned and as accurate to what's inside of you. And this is like simplified philosophy, because on a real surface level, somebody can be defined by their appearance or by the job that they have or the skills that they have or the hobbies that they do or even the clothes that they wear. They could be defined by where they're from. You know, some people just like really embody the city that they're from. I know Philly is like that. Baltimore is like that. Atlanta, Memphis, LA, New York, all of fucking Florida. It's a certain way that people act and carry themselves when they're from a certain place. Like if you're in Philly, I know I'm tired of seeing this shit, bro, but when you're in Philly, you see all these videos about people trying to make the accent. Like they'll try to imitate the accent for an Instagram video. And they don't even use the words right, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like you can act like you're from a certain place and people are like, oh, he's from New York. You can say words a certain way and your accent will give away where you're from. But all of those things don't really make you unique at all. Because if you add up all those different things, appearance, clothes, accent, interests, hobbies, whatever, there's a million other people in your city that have those same interests and probably look and talk and dress the same type of way. Like, oh, he was average height, he was bald, he liked music. Like, bro, that describes millions of people. That don't describe me. That's millions of people. I fall into that category of like millions of of people. So what really makes somebody unique? Like their character, their personality, their identity outside of the psyops and the egos and the indoctrination. And I am a fan of music. I love hip hop. I love rap. So I use that as an example. Rap is such a one-dimensional type of career, bro. Like think about your stereotypical rapper, right? He's like a killer. He's a drug dealer. He got to be rich. He got to be a tough guy. He got to get any woman that he wants, have all the women. He got to be intoxicated. He's probably high. He's sipping lean. He's popping perks. He got to dress a certain way. He got to act a certain way. You got to be from a certain city that's real gritty. You got to be from the trenches. You got to overcome every obstacle that you ever faced, and you got to come from the bottom and make it all the way to the top. And they want you to do that without ever changing your identity. They don't want to see your mentality evolve. I know when a lot of people come into the rap game, they don't know what's going on. They're in survival mode. But after you've been in it for a while and you have some success, rappers, they want to be owners now. They want to own their masters. They want to get away from the labels. They see how things are running. They want to do it themselves. But when you evolve and you learn and you know what's going on and you want to change things, that's when they say you changed up. You switched up on them. What they really want is for you to be the same. And people will hang on to this old version of you. Like people will really have conversations, right, about the best rapper alive, Lil Wayne. People will have conversations and be like, what Lil Wayne did you like the most? Did you like the Dedication 2, Dedication 3? Did you like the Drought series? You like the Carter series? And people will say, I miss that Lil Wayne. I miss the old Lil Wayne. As if he's really supposed to just stay the same, because had he stayed the same, it wouldn't even be interesting. Whoever said to never change, that is the worst advice ever given. You got to add some more context to that. Like, never change your good morals. Never change your good heart. Never change your good character. But just never change? That's fucking terrible advice. And I know what they really mean is keep it real. Like, don't be a sellout. But my definition, my understanding of keeping it real is being true to yourself. But I think the whole idea of keeping it real has been hijacked. Like, the meaning of keeping it real has been hijacked. It doesn't mean what it used to mean. I think when people say keep it real, it's a societal tactic or strategy to keep you one-dimensional, to keep you within the boundaries or ideas of like the identity that you have for yourself. And this was the dumbest shit ever, bro. I know I'm gonna age myself with this one. Y'all could just start calling me Pops and Unc and all of that other shit. But in the 90s, in the 1990s, the 1900s, ignorance was glorified like way different than it was today. Like it was really cool to be ignorant and dumb, and it was really frowned upon and lame to be smart and educated. Like people would try to hide the fact that they're fucking smart, which is dumb. But that peer pressure is a bitch. Peer pressure is a bitch, man. But when you break down the fundamentals of identity, we usually do things that align with our identities, like who we believe ourselves to be. But sometimes that identity gets projected onto people subconsciously. Like you're from a certain place, you're from a certain culture, you need to think this way, you need to be like this, you need to do this. This is normal, this is not normal, this is what we agree with, this is what we disagree with. And that shit can be dangerous. Identity is a dangerous game. Even a lot of the shit that goes on is like identity politics. It's like you identify with this culture or this group of people, so you got to think this way. You got to lean this way with your ideas and beliefs, or you're not part of that group. And a lot of that shit feels like it's predetermined before you even have a chance to decide what you actually feel about it. I remember I saw this clip from Tony Robbins like years ago. It was about identity, but it was about smoking and people that wanted to quit smoking and people that had success versus people that failed trying to be able to quit successfully. And the way he broke it down was it's nearly impossible to quit if you identify as a smoker. So what he's saying is, let's say you tell somebody you're 5 days clean from cigarettes. So you're basically a smoker that hasn't smoked in 5 days, versus when you have that last cigarette and you say, I'm not a smoker anymore. Then when someone offers you a cigarette in 2 weeks, you say, I don't smoke. And it's the whole identity behind that is the reason why you're able to or not able to do those certain things. Like for me, I am an artist. Someone that doesn't see themselves as an artist might not be able to tap into that creative potential that they actually do have, but they don't see themselves as an artist. They don't see themselves as a creative. So the identity really is everything. How we see ourselves really makes all the difference. But like I said, man, about being like water, being a shapeshifter, someone that's able to adapt to the different environments that I've been in, I also met a lot of people that have been really really just one dimensional. Like, you know what you're gonna get every single time. Like, they can't turn it on, they can't turn it off. That's just how they are. They can't adapt to the environment that they're in. It's like they're just on autopilot all the time. I know you heard that saying, there's a time and a place. And what does that mean exactly? There's a time, there's a certain time, and there's a certain place to act a certain way. There's a time and a place. Things that might be appropriate here are not appropriate here. The things you can do here, things you just can't do over here. There's another saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans. That's basically saying the exact same thing. You adapt to where you're at. You adapt to what's going on. And I'm not saying change your whole ideology or this whole podcast episode would be a waste, but when in Rome, do as the Romans. Pay attention. Have some kind of situational awareness. Have some kind of self-awareness. You got to know where you're at. You got to know how to act when you're there. I'll give you a relatable example. And I hate that this fucking example hits so close to home for me. But you ever had a friend that you just can't take nowhere? Like, hanging out in high school and all that shit was cool, but bro, I just can't take you no fucking places, bro. They don't know how to act. They don't know how to speak right in those certain environments. It's like they don't adapt or they don't evolve with the times or from their experiences. They're still the exact same person that you knew back then. Like, most people have changed even just a little bit, and other people had growth that's just through the ceiling, and they changed so much for the better. And I feel like that about myself. Like, if you knew me when we were kids, if you knew me when we were in school, if you knew me when we played sports together, bro, I'm not that person anymore. Like, if you knew me, you don't know me no more. You know of me. And that's the difference, because I'm not in that same mentality. I don't do the same things. I don't go around the same places. I don't go around them same people. I don't act the same way. Yeah, I'm physically here. I'm still the same person. But mentally, I just got a lot closer with myself over time. More aligned with who I truly am as a person. So I'm not going to say it's like night and day. Like, I probably still have the same tendencies, if I'm being honest, in some type of way. If we were cool, I'd still be cool with you, bro. I'm not going to switch up in that kind of way and be like, oh, I ain't seen you in X amount of years, so we not cool no more. You don't know me. It's like, nah, bro, if I recognize you, I'll say what's up and everything. We can even catch up, different shit like that. I'm sure you've changed as a person too. And that's the thing about the friendships that are really, truly friendships. They're not based on just proximity, like we were on the same team or we went to the school together. Like, a true friendship can grow as the people grow. The same thing with marriages and relationships and all of that stuff. Like, you got to change with the times. You got to change and grow and evolve with the person that you're in a relationship with, all while you're figuring yourself out. So it's a crazy balancing act, but that's just life. And I'm going to close with this being my main message. Don't be afraid to change the way that you think. You will 100%, I guarantee you, get some backlash, some resistance from the people that you're cool with, from the people that you're not cool with. When you start to think for yourself, when you start to do your own research, when you start forming your own opinions and you stop using that groupthink mentality, when you stop adapting the beliefs and the ideas that you believe just because your family believes it or just because your friend group believes it, it's going to piss some people off. It's going to rub people the wrong way, but you'll be another step closer to being your true, authentic self. So break those invisible barriers about how you perceive your identity. If it's not working for you or it's not healthy or you're really just trying to unlock your full potential, take this advice, take it with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it'll wear on you one day. You'll be like, damn, Mace was right. Because I had a lot of those moments where I heard some shit and it didn't hit, it didn't resonate with me at the time, but later on, I'm like, they was right. They know what's going on. But anyway, this is I Don't Need Clout, the podcast. If you found any value in this episode, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, give me a share, and I'll see you next time. I'll see you on the other side.